With the information you need to help you answer their questions is Dr. Scott McQueen of ConocoPhillips.
As many of you know, engine technology has seen a lot of changes in the last 5 to 10 years. Engines that are having higher horsepower, they're smaller in size with smaller displacements. They're running a lot warmer because you've got aerodynamics that are in effect. So in that, the oil technology also has had to change to keep up with the engine technology. So let's talk a little bit more about today's engine oil. What's its function? What's it for? Many of you know it's there to lubricate and to cool the engine. But a lot of technology that goes into it is also there to reduce friction in order to improve fuel economy. It's also been developed to provide better wear protection than previous oils. It also has to reduce engine heat and remove that heat that the engine is producing in order to save the engine and the oil. It's also important in preventing engine corrosion and rust. If we look more in detail at what a typical engine oil has in it, there's a lot of things that goes into an engine oil that you use in your dealerships. It's kind of like a soup. You throw in a lot of different ingredients and you have an outcome that's what you need. There's basically three categories of engine oils. Those three categories are usually good, better, and best. And what you see there is the conventionals or mineral oil based motor oils are deemed to be good. Better is the synthetic blends. Synthetic base stocks define how we categorize these engine oils, and if a synthetic base stock is combined with a mineral base stock, you have what's called a synthetic blend or a semi-synthetic engine oil. And then the best category is something that's formulated with all synthetic base stock to give you the best performance. And I kind of give you a visual of the demonstration of good, better, and best and how these perform. We can look at the frictional properties and how we compare between the three categories of engine oils. We just talked about the conventional oil and some of the impurities that may be in there from the less refined base stocks. And you see this on the bottom graph here, where if you think of these two parallel surfaces being the metal surfaces in your engine, they want to go rub against each other. And the oil's role is to protect those engine surfaces. But when you have a conventional oil, a lot of times you have these impurities. You'll have molecules that are in the base stocks that are not homogeneous. And because they're less refined, they don't come out the same size as they could. Well, what that leads to is a lot of times is gaps or the force. It takes more force to overcome those films that you see in your engine. On the very opposite hand is synthetic oils. And synthetic oils are either man-made or highly refined. And what these do is create very homogeneous molecules. And these molecules allow for the same films. So you see very little ridges, you see very little differences in the molecules from molecule to molecule, which we represent in this top graph. And you can see just from this is exactly what you'll see. You'll see a slippery surface. So you'll see more sliding, less friction because of the synthetic base stocks that are involved here. And then of course your synthetic blend will kind of be any combination between there. And not all synthetic blends are going to be equal because it all depends on the matching of how much conventional, how much synthetic you put in there, and also how you match up with the additive chemistry that goes in there. So synthetic blends do add some performance, but will not be the same. Now if we look at your best option, which is the Motorcraft Full Synthetic Engine Oil, it is the best option for your Ford Lincoln Mercury vehicles because it contains only synthetic base oil and none of the conventional that we talked about. It's also matched up with a very potent additive package to deliver the best performance that you can get in your best option. Some of the performance of this full synthetic is lower volatility, which creates less burn-off, and so you have better fluid viscosity. You also have a wider range of protection due to the synthetic nature of this, so you are fully protected at very hot and very cold operating conditions. Here we have some visuals of a hot oil oxidation test that we run in our laboratories, which simulates severe driving conditions at elevated temperatures. And what you see, the synthetic on the left is still able to pour after you've severely oxidized and treated this oil, whereas conventional oils on the right, the same performance category level, are now almost solid after this oxidation test. And we look at the other end of the spectrum and talk about cold weather performance. As most of you know, once you start your vehicle in a cold climate, you need it to start and you need it to pump the oil to the critical engine parts. That's one of the beauties and benefits of full synthetics versus the conventionals. As you see here, the full synthetics, because of their nature, flow at much colder temperatures compared to conventionals. The Motorcraft Full Synthetic also offers better protection and cleanliness to your engine, which we show here. This is an engine oil test we use for licensing, and this is the rocker cover off this engine. The left one's been run in a typical conventional oil, where the right's been run with the Motorcraft Full Synthetic. What you can see is a much cleaner rocker cover on the right. We don't see the oxidation that you see on the left. You see no varnish or sludge formation. Both these oils are passing oils, but one offers you better protection, and that's the one that you want to offer your customers that want the best protection for their vehicles. Now, many of you have heard a lot of the myths that go along with full synthetics. I'm going to talk about just a couple of those, just so we know the difference between fact and fiction. Many of you have heard that using a full synthetic oil, you cannot go back to a lesser conventional oil at a later date, and this is false. With the technology we've got into full synthetics, you could go back if you wished. There wouldn't be any detriment to your engine. Not sure you'd want to, but you could. Drain intervals for full synthetic motor oil can be extended. This is not promoted by Ford Motor Company to extend the drain intervals. What full synthetics will do is offer you better protection within that drain interval. So if you do miss it by 100 miles or so, you are better protected, and you're going to have a cleaner engine for the life of that vehicle, not just in the oil drain interval periods. Engines need to be broken in before using a full synthetic oil. This is another myth. They can start off using full synthetic in them, and many of the performance vehicles that Ford offers has a full synthetic in them coming off the factory. Full synthetics and conventionals can't be mixed. This is another myth. They can be mixed. If you are using a conventional today or a synthetic blend today, there will be no performance issues by moving to a full synthetic engine oil. And full synthetic oils can cause engine leaks. This is another myth. Today's technology and the way we formulated the Motorcraft Full Synthetic, it will not cause engine leaks.
So we've